Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Theta. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. Now, before we get into the video, I do want to mention, guys, that there is a link down below in the description where you can donate to help the Ukrainian military. Ukraine is currently at war with Russia, and anything you do is really helpful, guys. Thanks to Europe, thanks to every single country that has been accepting Ukrainians as refugees, and any financial support will tremendously help our boys out in the front lines. So yeah, basically help if you can. Obviously, it doesn't have to be any large sum, even $2, $3, things like, those little numbers are still gonna pile up and add up together. And, your $3 may get someone, that helmet, and that helmet potentially can save someone's life. So, yeah, thank you for all the donations, guys. Let's jump into Theta. Now, jumping into the daily chart here, we are on TradingView. So, essentially what we are doing right now, as you can see, we are in a tremendously large falling wedge with a target at $16 roughly. So, this is what we're targeting right now. And obviously, there's a long way before we can get there. Now, Theta has been bullish for the last week. As you can see, we got overextended from the 20 EMA. Right now, what we're doing is we're pulling back towards the 20 EMA over here. And we just had this wick almost all the way down to the 0.236 at $3.60. That would still be a support level that I would be targeting. And if we fail to lose the 20, if we fail to hold the 20 as support, I should say, then I would look at the 55 EMA as support. So those are two great entry points for you. Obviously, if we see a massive capitulation, I would look at $2.80 as a great entry point because, as you can see, this is a strong support level that we've been holding for, a couple of months here before, at the end of January, early February. So keep an eye on those, on this trend line. So draw this out on your chart so it's easier for you to look at this stuff on your own. Now, this white trend line is going to potentially play a huge role once we're going to be, getting squeezed up. Once we get squeezed up by the EMAs towards the upside, essentially what is going to happen, let me show you. So you're going to get squeezed up by the EMAs. Let me get the brush. You're going to get squeezed up by the EMAs like this, right? So you're going to get squeezed up by this trend line and by the EMAs, and essentially you're forced into a move. And you're more likely to break to the upside, right? Because the accumulation has been, this is a large falling wedge pattern, and the breakout is going to be massive unless Bitcoin craps the bed, we get some FUD, we get some bearish news, we get some, black swan events, maybe something, hopefully not, but maybe something horrible can happen during any day, and that could affect the markets, greatly. So always be ready with some spare stable coins. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the daily chart. Now, if you want to look for some resistances, I would look at $4.80. That is a great resistance area. That is the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement, and that is potentially a level you're going to run into because you've ran into that level once and you've back tested this level as support multiple times previously. So this is an important level to keep an eye on. Above that, we have the 0.5 at $5, I should say $6.01. But let's say $6. So from where we are right, let's say you entered at the 0.236 here, that is a 68% trade. So that's a pretty decent trade in my opinion. 68% is nothing to be ashamed of. So above that, we have the golden ratio sitting at $7.56. So that is the most important level of the Fibonacci retracement. That is the so-called golden ratio, the golden pocket. Now, essentially, if you start retracing, you break out of this pattern, right? You back test all these levels and you run into the golden ratio and you fail to break through it. you are looking at a potential dead cat bounce, basically, right? So you print this high, you print a lower high, and you continue on with the downtrend. Now, I do not see that playing out, but it is still a possibility. So we have to look at all possibilities. So you could swing it, right? You could swing trade this area over here. You could potentially sell at the golden ratio, buy back at the 0.5 at the next pullback. You know, it all depends on you, depends on what your strategy is. Now, let's jump into the daily RSI here. So you do see a couple of trend lines over here. As you can see, we got overbought. We got above the index of 70. So this was a great time to take some profits. And if you look at these two crossing pink trend lines, those represent support levels because we've broken through all of them. We haven't back tested as support either of them, and we need to do that. So the first one, the upper one, has had 3 resistance touches before we eventually broke through it. And the lower one had, more than 3 support touches and a couple of resistance touches as well. We broke through that. And below that, we have this yellow trend line, which has been holding us as support for multiple times over here. So if we see a capitulation, if we see a potential, pullback, whatever, you start losing the pink trend lines, look for 44 or 45 on the index on this yellow trend line. That is going to be a great support trend line. Now, let's jump into the 4-hourly chart on the Binance website. I said we're going to jump into the 4-hourly chart, but we're jumping back into the daily real quick over here. So what we can see is a Fibonacci retracement that we've had from the last update that we had on Theta. I don't remember when was that, probably before the war started, but you can see that we do have the targets to the downside, and we haven't lost the 786 as support over here. So $2.62 is basically your crucial support that you don't want to be losing. You did have this wick to the downside all the way down to the swing low of the retracement at $2.27. So if you had some buy orders, limit buy orders, then you got filled, bro. And that is a good trade. So potentially, if you entered there, you were up 91%, which is, that's a pretty good trade. That is pretty good. Now, as you can see, we're retracing to the swing high over here. We got rejected from this swing high. And essentially, I do want to get a different Fibonacci retracement right now. So let's take this Fibonacci retracement that we have over here, right? This swing low. So this is going to be our swing low. You can take either of these lows because they're basically the same. And let's either drag this out over here, right? Yeah, let's actually do that. So this is going to be our swing high that we're targeting, right? $5.96. Okay, this is a bit of a smaller version of the fib that we had on the previous chart. This yellow zone is a resistance that we broke through, and now we're back testing this as support. So this is very bullish in my opinion. We do have the golden ratio over here sitting at $4.12.5. That is something that we should keep an eye on as well. And as you can see, we pretty much ran into the 200 daily EMA over here and got rejected back down. So if you had all these levels and you potentially had this fib retracement up, you would have seen all these resistance levels even before watching the video, and you could have taken some action, right? And now if we zoom out a little bit and we look at some of the long-term targets here. So we do have $10.80, which is the 1.618. And we're going to be targeting that after we break through the first fib level at $5.95.5. So that is something that we want to look at in the future. Before that, obviously, we had this large symmetrical triangle. We broke down out of it. And right now we were in this reaccumulation phase. And it seems like actually we are potentially even forming some sort of a cup and handle. Actually, no, this is not a cup and handle pattern because you don't have a rounded bottom here. You do have a high over here. So scratch that. But yeah, other than that, thank you for watching. If I missed out anything on the charts, please let me know down below in the comment section. And yeah, feel free to check out the donation link. That is the donation link for the official Ukrainian military donation website. So thank you for watching. Feel free to check me out on Twitter, Patreon. We do a lot of posts, daily posts and requests on Patreon. So feel free to check that out. It's a great way to support me as well, because, you know, things aren't really, you know, super easy right now for all Ukrainians. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'm going to catch you in the next one.